Hey, welcome back. Ryan and Cars. First rock chip in the Hornet. I'm gonna grab the phone. I went all winter. I was scared all winter to get a big rock chip in the car. I don't know, did that show up? I'll have to look back later and see. Yeah, I worked. I got medical tape on it. It's the only tape I had in the car out of the first aid kit. But which is funny because I worked in a glass shop before winter, and that's what we would fix. I'd replace we and part of the things we would do is uh, you know replace windshields, but was also to fix rock chips. And the company I worked for. They gave people sheets of these stickers saying "Fix me," and they were these round clear plastic stickers, so that when you got a rock chip, you covered it with that sticker so that you didn't get the dirt and grime and stuff, because when you fill it up with the resin, it'll take away some of the cracks and things, and having the dirt and stuff in there actually will impede the resin from filling out all the cracks, more so than it not being noticeable. The important thing is that the resin gets into the cracks, because you don't want it to spread, because that'll turn into a line of the line cracks that go across the windshield, sort of thing, right? And I remember I'd never worked in a glass shop before. I'd never replaced windshields before, and I learned it there. And as many cars as that we went through, I learned which ones were complicated and difficult, which ones were finicky. And I looked at my Hornet windshield one day, and I looked at it, and I'm like, "Oh, this thing would be a pain in the butt to replace. I hope I don't have to replace it this winter or next winter. I hope I can keep the windshield for a while." Because along the top here we would always scratch using the knives. It was so difficult because there's so little space in some of these vehicles. Uh, Along the top, on the outside there, it's the polished plastic. On older trucks and stuff like that, you could scratch the paint, and then we had this paint fixer stuff, and it matched well, and it didn't make a big deal, especially on older vehicles that had already been previously scratched or rusted and stuff up there. But I was actually looking along the top. I'm looking along the side. And I'm like, oh my God, it's super tight. And it's got the rubber gasket around it, plus the camera. And then down at the bottom, it's got a little spacer, that little rubber plastic spacer at the very, very bottom. And then, yeah, I don't know. I just remember looking at it going, I don't want to fix this windshield. I don't want to replace the windshield in here. And if I do, I want to give it to somebody else. And when they scratch it, I'm going to complain. I just didn't want to be the person doing it. But got my first rock chip. Probably taken in Monday. So here in Alberta, you can buy an extra glass insurance, because every window on your car is covered, this except the windshield. For theft and things like that. Like if you break a side windshield, if you break your front windshield, you can't claim it on your insurance. And so they came up with this special insurance for windshields. It was like $200 a year or something. And when I was working in the glass shop, these windshields were three, four, five, $600, right? Especially if they've got cameras and defrosted windshield wipers and things like that, condensation sensors, and the more stuff that's on the windshield, the more expensive they are. And paying that $200 and covering a windshield every year, because I was thinking, you know what? I'll just hit it with a hammer and say it's a huge rock chip that can't be fixed, and take the windshield in and get it replaced every year, if that's the case. Because when I showed up here, there wasn't a mark on the windshield. There was no little, you get that salting, because in Victoria, they didn't use any of that stuff. And there was no gravel and grit. Whereas out here in Alberta, that's all there is all winter. And I'm driving highways, so trucks are throwing rocks at you as they pass. So are passenger cars, and people pass like lunatics here on the highway, especially in the wintertime. They'll come out and then they'll cut right in front of you while spraying your car with sand. Like even the front of my car on the hood. Now there's tons of rock chips where you got to fix those little pepper things. I was like, oh, whatever. Okay. Oh, well. I knew that was going to happen. Everybody out here buys that 3M protector. Everybody, because that's what happens to the cars. You know, over time, it just get beat up. Anyway, just wanted to share with you the rock chip moment. And when you do get one, if you do get one, cover it as soon as you can. Don't try to wash it out or anything like that. Just pull over if you can right away, as soon as you can, and throw a piece of tape on it. And if you don't have tape, use a band-aid. Only because any of the grit that gets in there stops the resin from flowing and sealing the cracks off, basically gluing the windshield back together. Otherwise, you'll end up with the starred windshield thing. And it's better to drive around with a fixed rock chip like that than to drive around with an unfixed rock chip. Yeah, and if you didn't know, windshields are double layered, right? There's a top glass, there's a bottom glass, and there's a thin sheet in between, right? And that's why it's safety glass. So the windshield shatters, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it. Like it doesn't all fly apart into little pieces. It kind of sticks together. You see it in movies when they kick out windshields and stuff like that. It bends and stars up and things like that, but it doesn't shatter like side glass does. It doesn't shatter into those little pieces. That's why it's laminated in between the two layers, holds everything together, sort of thing, right? But yeah, take care of your rock chips.